Waiting for those brand new jobs numbers to come in. They were released 16 seconds ago. We're going to get them into our newsroom. Meanwhile, another big issue for Americans is wage growth. Good news is it's on the rise, but is it rising enough? Here to break it down, Fox Business Network's Gerri Willis. Gerri, we're going to have the unemployment number, jobs number in just a moment.
Right. I should be getting it on my little telephone anytime now.
Okay.
We're expecting that. But
we got to get you a staff.
We've got it right now, 3.9.
3.9, so it ticks down lower than expected. The expectation 4.0% after last month's 4.1%. That's a surprise. I think the markets will like that, 3.9%. Unless they start thinking that people are going to get paid more and inflation's going to go up, then that could be a concern. But for workers, 3.9%. Full employment, it's good news.
Americans receiving unemployment aid lowest since 1973.
So this is good news again. Fewer people are claiming unemployment, fewer people are unemployed, fewer people not getting into the workforce.
We've got the jobs number. It's 164,000. That was in the range, right?
That's low.
It's in the range, but on the low end, certainly. I think that's a bit of a disappointment and frankly kind of surprising to me from what I'm hearing anecdotally from people. And that we were expecting 192,000 or 170. Keep in mind, this is a huge economy, right? And these numbers are really de minimis compared to the entire size of the labor force.
But here's the other thing. I don't know if we have this number, is how many people are capable of working and not.
There's a lot of that. There's a whole lot of that. Participation rate has been strengthening, but it's still, I believe, at 60%. So more people could be in the workforce. And I have to tell you, what I'm hearing from people who headhunt, they're starting to create programs to train people for these jobs because they're desperate to pull more people into the workforce. There's so much demand for workers. And the point I want to make today really is that, look, it's time that wages rose for workers. We've seen earnings gains for workers, 2.7% year over year. That's not great. I know it may sound like a lot to some people.
Well, whose decision is that? That's the CEO's decision. That's a president's decision.
It's strange, though,
not United States,
with this jobs market getting tighter and tighter, that wages haven't gone up more than they have.
Are you saying minimum wage should go up?
All wages across the board, but especially hourly earnings. They've been going up. I'm not sure if we've gotten those numbers in yet or not, but that was the number that I wanted to focus on because that's critical. Americans want to see their wages go up. They were slow through the recovery to rebound, right? We saw that over and over again in every report, and they've only slowly ticked higher. Look, people are dealing with inflation on the ground. You've seen auto numbers, the prices for cars and trucks going through the roof. Anecdotally, everywhere you go, if you get a haircut, Ainsley, that's more expensive, right? So
gas is going up, too, on top of that.
Gas is going up. So people are seeing this. They're feeling it in their wallet. They want higher wages.
Right. Labor participation rate is 62.8%. So I don't know whether that is up or down from last time. But also you got to keep in mind the number of people who no longer are working for one reason or another. A lot of people are retired. And it's kind of like, you know what? I worked for the man long enough. I'm gonna sit on the beach.
You know the good news in this? If you're one of these baby boomers who failed to save enough, you can still work and make some money, right? Because they're desperate for experienced workers, experienced employees, and those folks can stay in the labor force for sure.
If you're 80 and restless, this is your opportunity. So here's the thing, Gerri.
You're going to be 90 and restless.
Exactly. No,
I just see that.
Believe me. My wife fears the day I say I retire, which will never happen. But I will say this, Gerri. The thing is, the market forces should be raising the wages. Have someone hit you with a theory on why the market forces aren't raising wages? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but one of the theories out there is that prices in the economy have been kept low as well, and mostly by technology. So if you're buying things on Amazon, you're buying it from China, right? It's cheaper than if you bought an American-made good, right? So that helps workers. And one of the things about this discussion over tariffs and trade, right, is that it could raise consumer prices.
There was a great article, I want to say it was in the Wall Street Journal a couple of days ago, and it talked about big tech, and it talked about how much they get there. But there's disparity in the big tech companies. For instance, at Google and Facebook, I think the average paycheck is about $250,000 per year per employee. You go over to Amazon, it's close to 28,000 because those are the people who are picking stuff off of shelves.
They're working in the warehouses, right? So interestingly, if you look at a city by city breakout month to month of gains in wages per hour, San Francisco has the highest, 3.7%, the big gains. The lowest, Chicago, up 0.7%. But even though that's the lowest big city, earnings gain, it's also up, not down. So I think there's pressure percolating throughout that. I hear anecdotally from people who are chefs at restaurants, I've got the money to start a new restaurant, I've got the location picked out, but I don't have the people to work in it.
Where
I've
are
got to
the
wait.
jobs? Where are the openings right now? What industry?
They are across the board, but you know, one area that transportation, logistics, truck drivers are in high demand. Their hourly earnings are going up about 4.5%.
There you go.
You know, you see lots of jobs out there. You got to look for
That's
them.
a tough one, though, because you're away from your family.
That's true.
It's still a good
Right.
job, though, I guess, making money.
Right. You know what? Jillian can't really drive a truck, can you?
This is America.
That was
She can do
probably your
anything.
most awkward toss ever.
I'm not, it's not
Jerry,
a full talk.
I think
I'm
we're
trying to
done with
include you in.
All right,
I can
Jerry,
drive
Gerri
it.
Willis,
Thank
thanks
you.
so much.
Thank you.
I can
you.
drive a truck, for the record.
You can?
You can?
Like an 18-wheeler?
Well,
You've driven an
no. My
18-wheeler?
dad has a pickup truck. I can drive that.
No, I'm talking about that.
impressive.
Listen, it's still a
18-wheeler.
truck. All right, we got to get to some more important news, guys, because there's other things to talk about. Let's start with this Fox News alert. In an exclusive interview, a former terror recruiter sends a warning to the West. Fareed Benyatou says people are more likely to follow ISIS's deadly ideas because of a sense of discrimination and injustice. That's why he's now working towards de-radicalizing terrorists after years in prison.
The simple act of building relations with other people opened my mind. The other thing that really helped me was the assistance of my Jewish neighbors when I got out of jail.
Benyatou recruited the terrorists behind the Charlie Hebdo newspaper attack in Paris in 2015. Kanye West might be heading to the West Wing. President Trump planning to host a White House summit on race, inviting top athletes and artists, and the rapper could be one of them. This, according to Cleveland pastor Darrell Scott, one of the president's most prominent black allies. Scott says our commander-in-chief hopes Kanye shows up to the summit. He's been a vocal supporter of the president. So far, a date for that event has not yet been set. All right, a wild courthouse escape caught on camera. Just watch this guy run out of the room in handcuffs, then flip over a second-floor railing, taking a nosedive to the ground, breaking several bones, by the way. He was appearing before a judge in Utah after skipping out on rehab. Might want to rethink that one next time. Here's something you don't see every day, but you probably think it. This road sign taunting drivers reading, "You'll never get to work on time." Ha ha. Someone snapping this picture in Prince George County, Maryland. Officials say it was probably hacked by pranksters. Gotta have a nice little laugh at that, though.
You never know. Somebody at the Department of Transportation might have
There was a
typed
lot
that
of
in.
traffic,
Maybe.
and people couldn't get to work on time. So
They might have done
taunting
it
them.
on their last day.
Oh,
We see a lot of that.
maybe.
All right.
Can we put Rob on that story? And try to get to the bottom of it?
I'm pretty sure he's
Is
on the
he
golf
gone?
course
Is
by
he-
now.
Is he
but-
gone already? All right.
Gone.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Jillian. Have a good weekend. Meanwhile, straight ahead, President Trump's tough talk seems to be having a major impact on foreign policy. So why does the left keep whining about that? Steve Hilton has an idea, and he's next.
And Janice is live at the Kentucky Derby. Hey, Janice.
You do not want to miss this next segment because Saul Kumin, one of the co-owners of Justify and